Well, hello and welcome on into Westchester, Pennsylvania. And as we open this evening, a very special thanks to Paul Berliner. You may know him from the anger meter where he's always a 10 out of 10, but tonight he was the man who got us into the VIP booth above the scores table, and he helped bring you these crystal clear images from Pennsylvania. It's the New York City Raiders taking on the Bedford Bears. The Bears come into this second game of the MYHockey tournament, having most recently tied the Great Neck Bruins and the Palisades Predators outside of Philadelphia by scores of 4-4 and 3-3, respectively. Longtime viewers of Midnight Sports will remember that the Raiders traveled up to Katona, New York to face Bedford at the Harvey School in early December, with the Raiders notching the 6-5 victory in a close end-to-end game that saw the Raiders take an early lead and then hang on for dear life as the Bears came storming back. This morning, the Bears played the Delaware Junior Blue Hens at Iceline, and they won by a score of 5-1. The Raiders come to PNY Sports Arena here in Westchester this evening, having lost a really close and tight one this morning against the Capitals Academy by a score of 3-2. The Raiders will look to bounce back from that game and take it to the Bedford Bears from the outset of this one. Programming note for you, please join us tomorrow at 12:20 p.m. on Midnight Sports as the Raiders take on the new Canaan Wildcats from the Oaks Ice Rink in Oaks, Pennsylvania. But first, it's Raiders, it's Bears, period one's puck drop, coming up next on Midnight Sports. Well, let's see now. It looks like it's going to be Marshuka, Finkelstein, Meyerowicz, Steinfink, and Gossler as the starting five skaters for the Raiders. It'll be Ryan Speaker in goal. Puck drop, won by Bedford, back to their blue line, sent forward, and Gossler will come away with it. Gains the line, dumps it in, and we're rolling here at PNY Sports Arena in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Bears try and clear the zone. Can't make it past Marshuka, who sends that rink wide. Can't find a Raiders stick, though, and Bedford's going to break out with some speed into the neutral zone. Only so far is Steinfink, who turns the puck and sends it back into the neutral zone, and Bedford just has to dump that one in. Goes behind the cage, and Bedford first to the puck as they gain the offensive zone. But Finkelstein all over his man, looks for a headman pass to Marshuka. Can't find him, though, and now Bedford comes in. Long stick of Finkelstein, sees that puck, stopped before it gets to the net, and Gossler racks it around the boards. Now Bedford dumps right back in. They've got the puck in the slot. Shot comes in, and a one-timer right from in front of Speaker goes up and over the shoulder, and it's a quick 1-0 lead for Bedford with just 12:14 left to go here in the first period. Well, it was a bang-bang play. As you can see on the replay, Bedford at the back post, just waiting to tuck that one home, and there was no doubt about it as it hit the twine. Well, ensuing faceoff's going to be Berliner. He's got Pizarro and Samosi out there with him. Samosi takes the puck, tries to work it forward to Pizarro. And Bedford comes away with it again in the neutral zone. Bedford has come out to play on this one, clearly remembering that 6-5 loss last month. Pizarro takes over possession of the puck in his own zone. He looks up ice, looking for a diagonal pass in support. Uses the boards, chips it just past Samosi, and Bedford's able to keep the zone only momentarily. Now Nate Koslewski shepherds it farther up, and the puck comes back into the offensive zone for the Bears, but a little too quickly. So we'll get another stoppage in play here at 11:40 49 left to go in the first period. Well, Bedford racing out to an early lead here in Pennsylvania, and the Raiders will look to get that one back as quickly as they can. Berliner wins that faceoff over to Samosi, who gains the zone. He's got Pizarro streaking through the slot. Samosi on the backhand, has the puck bobble on him, must have hit a chip in the ice, comes right through the blue paint, nobody home for the Raiders. Koshlewski now will pick up at the far point, try and work it farther, hits a skate, so Samosi takes over, banks it off the boards, trying to get that puck in deeper. Bedford hits one of their men on the way out of the zone. The puck comes into the neutral zone. Now the puck sits in the neutral zone. Bedford tries to work it farther. Puck comes all the way up to the blue line of the Raiders. They take over again in the neutral zone. Now Samosi goes rink wide, dumps that puck in, while the Raiders defenders make a change. Berliner, Pizarro, and Samosi stay out there as the puck's reversed, and Hyder and Aiden come out as the defensive pairing for the Raiders. Berliner keeps the offensive zone, though, tries to dump it in deeper, hits a skate, and Bedford's going to send this weak side up and out of the zone. Aiden now will give chase in his own zone. He picks it up in the mid-slot, does Aiden. Curls with speed at his own blue line. Finds Pizarro on the weak side. Puck rolls off his stick momentarily, and now Marchuka tries to take the puck over. Some heavy hitting right in front of us at the scorer's table here. No calls coming as Aiden takes it over at his blue line. Tries to work the puck farther. It hops off his stick, and now Bedford turns the other way. Long shot in, doesn't get through the first time. Second try, still gummed up there, but we're going to have a penalty call as that puck's touched up. Not yet, no whistle coming. Bedford with a delayed penalty. Puck hits the back of the cage. Aiden will touch this one up, and we do finally get that call with 10:27 left to go in the first period. Unclear what the call here is going to be. Looks like it'll be Petrosinelli going to the box. No signal yet, though, from the referee. Referee telling the Raiders player to work on his arms. Looks like it's elbowing. So 2 minutes for elbowing to Petrosinelli with 10:27 left to go here in the first period. Penalty killers are Marchuka, Fauci, Steinfink, and Gosser. Marchuka leans over the near dot. As the linesman holds up play momentarily to check all players, make sure they're outside the circle. Marchuka wins the faceoff. Gosser tries to work it around weak side. Bedford gets there first, works it up to the near point. Puck sits at the near point, and then it's dumped in farther. Bedford trying to set up some shot from the far point. They work it in deep. Speaker's able to kick that one aside as it comes through the blue paint, and the Raiders will take right back over on the stick of Fauci. Fauci skates it out of the zone. He's in the neutral zone. Nice back check by Bedford. Takes the puck off his stick, and Bedford turns and goes right the other way on the power play here. Bedford trying to work that into the slot. Speaker covers up as the puck comes in to the low slot. No shot coming, so 9:58 left to go here in the first period. Still 1:31 left to go on the power play for Bedford. And of course, time to remind you, you're watching this game on Midnight Sports. Come for the expert camera work, leave for the bad jokes. Midnight Sports. Face-off won by the Raiders on the penalty kill. They're able to get that all the way out of the zone. It's going to go just a bit too far for them, though, as the arm's up for icing. So that'll kill about 11 seconds on the penalty, but no more, as it'll be another defensive zone draw here for the Raiders. Looks like it'll be to the right of Speaker, and it's Tanoff, Bigliotti, Kashevsky, and Berliner out there as the penalty killers for them. Berliner over the near dot, wins that on the backhand, over to Tanoff. Tanoff tries to work it farther. Two Bedford men all over him. Bedford goes point to point. Little ice out there now for them, and Berliner tracks down his man at the far point. Puck bounces way up into the sky, nearly hits the roof on that, comes right down at the far dot, and four players scramble for it. Bedford comes away with it, dumps it in deep. Tanoff turns into the near corner and sends that puck all the way to the near point, but not out just yet. Tanoff tries to corral the puck as it comes back down into the near corner. Bedford all over him. Lifts his stick. Tanoff still working hard, and Berliner's able to cut out the slot pass. Flick that up off the glass, not out just yet. Collision there at the far half wall. No call coming as Berliner now picks up the puck on his forehand and curls behind his net. Shepherds that over to Bigliotti. Picks up the puck on his stick, but then it rolls off and comes to the near point. Bedford will dump that right back in. Now it's Berliner again in the near corner, trying to work that around. Some tired Raiders skaters out there on this kill. 24 seconds left to go on the power play for Bedford. Berliner now tries a backhander out. Comes to the far point. Shot comes in. Goes well over the cage. And Bigliotti will pick up the puck. He skates that to the near half wall, and he's able to send that diagonally out of the zone. The Raiders make a change, but Bedford comes right back in with speed. Cut out expertly by Tanoff. Puck rolls harmlessly to the far corner. Now all the way rink wide to the near half wall. Kalemba jams that puck farther out of the zone. Bedford will have to set up again. We're back to 5-on-5 skating as Bedford gains the offensive zone, and now Kalemba picks up the puck in his own end on the backhand. feathers that up and out of the zone again. Bedford again with possession now at the blue line, but Finkelstein all over his man, takes over in the offensive zone. It's 1-on-3, backhander comes in, hits the leg pad of the Bedford goaltender, and the puck stays out. 8:05 left to play here in the first period as Bedford looks to set up in their own zone again and break out. They've got it at the near half wall, and now they come the other way. They're through the neutral zone. It's a 2-on-2 developing with some speed. Looking to set up as Aiden blows a tire. They're in, except Blake Hyder gets his stick there just in time, and he cuts out the play and sends the puck out of the zone. Blake Hyder with a nice play there as Bedford breaks right back into the offensive zone, but a little too soon. So with 7:46 left to go in the first period, we'll have an offside call. It's Bedford 1, Raiders nothing. Well, this game is set up just the way the game in December was. A lot of end-to-end action. Bedford's had the better of it here early in the first period. The Raiders with a little bit of push in the last 60 seconds or so. Face-off, won by the Raiders forward. Kalemba kicks it to himself, and then the puck rolls off his stick. He'll try and get another shot at it as Finkelstein harasses his man too. Finkelstein's able to chip that puck forward, and then he gets tied up in the neutral zone, and Bedford will take over again in their own zone. Bedford turns with the puck. They go point to point in their own end. 7:25 left to go here in the first as Bedford with the diagonal pass through the neutral zone. Cut out by Finkelstein momentarily. Bedford trying desperately to stay on side, and they lose possession of it to Meyerowicz in the neutral zone. Meyerowicz tries to kick it to himself. Puck comes off his skate. Bedford takes over momentarily and then hits the linesman on a clear, and Finkelstein will take over at the near dot. Tight angle shot doesn't get through as it hits a body in front. Kalemba tries to track down. Bedford beats him to it, and now they skate with speed through the neutral zone. It's a 3-on-2 developing, but the long stick of Gossler cuts out the threat, and he's able to jam that right back out of the zone. Under 7 minutes to go here in the first period, as the Raiders will complete their change here, and Bedford takes over in their own end. Bedford behind their cage, tries to reverse it. Marchuka there, though, in the near corner. He finds Samosi. Samosi turns, works that up to Tanoff. Tanoff works that in deeper. Now Samosi to Marchuka. Return pass doesn't quite make it to him as Bedford cuts out that threat, and then they send that up and out of the zone. This should be an icing. Arm raised, and there's the whistle. So 6:28 left to go here in the first period. Bedford ices the puck. It'll be an offensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders here, as they have Nate Koslewski, Chris Tanoff, Dom Bizarro, Rafi Samosi, and Luke Marchuka out there as the 5 skaters. It'll be Marchuka at the near dot here. He's got Bizarro to his right and Samosi in the slot. Wins that over to Bizarro. Bizarro tries to curl into the slot. He's cut off by 2 Bedford players, so he turns and reverses to himself. Puck finally rolls off his stick. Only comes up to Tanoff, though. Long shot in. Deflection and a score. That's a Raiders goal. Oh, it looked like Tanoff to Marchuka. Marchuka got a piece of it right in front of the Bedford goal, and we've got a tie hockey game here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. 6:18 left to go here in the first, and it's a whole new game. Raiders 1, Bedford 1. Marchuka, Bizarro, and Samosi will stay out there as the forwards. Hyder and Aiden as the defensive pair. Bedford just chips that forward. They've got a mini break developing here. They're able to move around a man. Speaker dives and sticks that away. No call coming yet. Looked like an errant whistle somewhere else in the arena. Hyder moves that puck up to Bizarro. Bizarro into the neutral zone. He's got Samosi with him. He takes that puck farther in the offensive zone and then chips it even deeper. Still Bizarro. Bizarro still tries to curl around his man. And finally, the third Bedford man's able to take it away from him. Now Marchuka lifts his stick. Hyder with a slapper and goes wide of the cage. Bizarro chops that down, goes behind the cage, and tries to get onto the forehand. But Bedford all over him. Now a heavy hit there from Samosi, able to separate his man from the puck. Comes all the way up to Aiden, who has a shooting lane blocked, so he just has to dump that deeper. Dom Bizarro on the puck now, tries to move that puck up to the point. He does. He finds Aiden with a rolling puck, who chips that farther. Samosi now turns. Puck rolls off his stick at the last second. Slapper comes in from Hyder. Oh, just misses the cage. Deflection just missed. Stick to side there by the Bedford goaltender, and now Bedford will look to break out. They've got a 3-on-2 here and some tired Raider skaters out there. Bedford now into the offensive zone on the forehand. They dangle around one man. They're in on Speaker. Shot shut down there at the near post by Speaker. Bizarro all over his man to separate him from the puck. He does. Aiden comes away with the puck, looks up ice. He's got Marchuka as a head man. Leaves it for him there at center ice. Marchuka with the puck. Gains the offensive zone. He's got Samosi in the slot. He goes wide to the right. Tight angle shot rolls off his stick before he's able to really pull the trigger. Bedford looks to take over in the near corner. Berliner gums up the play momentarily so the Raiders defenders can get back. Long dump in there by Bedford once they gain the line. 4:47 left to go as the Raiders will pick up in their own end. Gosser sends it up to Marchuka. Marchuka with the puck. Curls to the center of the ice. Tries to work it farther for Berliner as Marchuka will go and complete his change. Berliner and Fauci now into the offensive zone. We get a whistle, though, for icing as the puck just missed Berliner's stick on the Marchuka dump in. So it'll be a defensive zone draw for the Raiders with 4:34 left to go here in the first period. Well, it'll be Steinfink and Gosler as the defensive pair. Petrocinelli, Fauci, and Berliner as the forwards. Berliner looks to win this on the backhand. He does, all the way to the near corner. Bedford sends 2 men in to pick it up. But with Steinfink and Berliner there, they're able to thread that puck all the way over to the far point. Not out just yet. Bedford now curls into the high slot. Can't get past Petrocinelli, and Berliner comes away with it. He headmans up to Fauci. Fauci into the offensive zone. He gets that puck onto his forehand. Can't load up, though, as a nice back check by Bedford keeps him from making the shot. 4:10 left to go as Petrocinelli chops that clearance attempt out of the air, and Bedford still with the puck, though, in the near corner in their defensive zone. Bedford behind the net, able to get it past Berliner, and now they send that diagonally into the zone, but not out just yet until they come weak side. Now Fauci goes all the way to the far half wall, and he dumps that puck in deeper. Long shot in, stick to side, comes to Berliner, hits the side of the cage. Now Petrocinelli picks up behind the cage, tries to curl around, puck rolls off his stick. Bedford still can't escape the zone there as Fauci blows a tire. Berliner taken out of the play. No arm raised there. Steinfink pinches in the high slot. Tries to dangle that farther. Gets gummed up, and Bedford will skate the other way with the puck out of the zone. It's a 2-on-3 for Bedford. They'll dump in again as they have to make a change. Raiders have really tilted the ice in the last 120 seconds or so as Steinfink picks up the puck behind his net. Steinfink on the puck, tries to come weak side. He does find Vigliotti fresh to the ice in the neutral zone. Vigliotti has 2 men chasing him down, who's trying to dump that weak side, but the Raiders were on a change. Now Bedford dumps the puck right back in. Nate Koslewski turns to pick up the puck. He's on the forehand, tries to reverse. He does. He finds Tanoff in his own zone. Tanoff banks it off the boards to Marchuka. Marchuka has a streaking Vigliotti down the middle, who will now go in on the forecheck with Jackson Kalemba at the near half wall. Kalemba gets to the puck first, sends that to the front of the cage, and then it's sticked aside by Bedford. Kalemba on the puck still, tries to work that farther down in the near corner, but Bedford gets there first. They're able to get that out of the zone after a couple bounces off a couple of bodies. Bedford will dump in again and give chase. Koslewski turns to pick up the puck behind his own net. He's on the backhand. He moves that puck farther for Vigliotti. Weird carom off the half wall there. Vigliotti's able to gum up the stick of his man with his own, so no shot coming as Kalemba finds Marchuka in the neutral zone. Now Marchuka into the offensive zone. He's deadly on that backhand. He sends a tight angle shot that rolls wide. He'll pick up his own shot, though, in the near corner and try and send that out to the slot. Cut out again by Bedford, who'll skate the puck out of the zone. Bedford into the neutral zone. Try and get past Tanoff as some bodies come together there. Bedford wanted an interference call, but instead, innocent coming together of skaters in the neutral zone. Bedford will set up again with just 2 minutes left to go here in the first period. Puck comes to Tanoff in the neutral zone. He shields the puck with his body, and then Bedford sends a bouncing puck all the way in. Icing waved there as Vigliotti picks it up behind his own net. Vigliotti on the puck. He finds Berliner in his own zone. Berliner then chops that wide to the weak side. Kalemba tries to track it down. Bedford there first, and they just dump it right back. So Hyder works it farther to Berliner. Berliner dances around one man. He's gained the offensive zone as Berliner. He's on the backhand, so he waits. He waits at the far corner. Now it's jammed off his stick, and Bedford's able to use the boards to work that up and out of the zone. Aiden will take over. He's got Meyerowicz back there. Goes point to point with him. The puck comes off his stick, so Jake will track that down and send it up to Hyder. And then beyond to the far point. Rolling puck comes in. It's gloved aside by Speaker. Puck now into the slot, and it's a score. There it is. That rolling puck came into the slot. Speaker gloved it aside, but the pass came right back out into the low slot, and Bedford scored there. It's Bedford 2, New York City Raiders 1. 1:19 left to go here in the first period, and Bedford has reestablished their 1-goal lead. It'll be Berliner on the ensuing faceoff. Bedford wins that forward, but it's chopped nicely by Steinfink over to Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz dumps that puck in. Berliner now in on the forecheck. Unfortunate for the Raiders there as they had spent a lot of time in the offensive zone. And then the first counterattack coming the other way hits the back of the twine for Bedford. Bedford now through the neutral zone. Shepherded, though, by Gosler. On to Berliner and Meyerowicz. Puck sent right back the other way through the neutral zone. Ping-ponging now in the neutral zone. It comes to a Bedford player in the defensive end. Bedford takes their time to set up the play. They go up the right wing, and they're harassed there by Finkelstein and Berliner. Berliner lifts the stick of his man, then works that puck deep in the offensive zone with just 40 seconds left. Bedford takes over possession. It's chopped again by Meyerowicz over to Finkelstein. Finkelstein back to Meyerowicz. Meyerowicz turning, trying to get that puck into the blue paint. It's loose. Oh, a body in front keeps that puck out with just 30 seconds left to go. Not sure Bedford knew much about it, but there is something to be said for being in the right place at the right time. Finkelstein again takes the puck off his man, and Meyerowicz picks up the change, dumps that puck in. 18 seconds left to go in the first as the Raiders pushing for the tying goal here in the first frame. Berliner leans on his man. Puck comes up to Finkelstein and then hops over a stick. And with 9 seconds left, the Raiders need to get back in a hurry. They do. Gossler takes the puck, sends that weak side and out of the zone. Now Bedford breaks right back in, but Silas Gossler there to cut out any threat. And there's the buzzer. After 1, it's the Bedford Bears 2. The New York City Raiders 1. Stick around. We'll put 13 more minutes on the board. Period 2. Coming up next from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Well, as we sit here for waiting for period 2's puck drop, gives us time to visit with our first sponsor this evening. Today's game on Midnight Sports is made possible by the heartbreak of your check engine light. Hockey fans, having a kid play hockey means early mornings, ungodly smells, and lots of driving all over the region. All that driving can lead to some problems, though. Just like heartburn, your check engine light comes on without warning in what feels like the ultimate act of betrayal. How could you do this to me, car? Haven't we had some good times together? And yet that orange light stares mercilessly back at you, unwavering in its message that your day is about to get a lot worse. It's the heartbreak of your check engine light. One betrayal your mechanic will put a price on for you. Well, the players are getting set here for period 2, that is. Although it truly is the second frame. 13 minutes on the board here as the Raiders come right back over the boards. It'll be Marchuka, Bizarro, and Samosi as the forwards. Steinfink and Gossler as the defensive pair. And it is the period of the long change here, as getting pucks deep will be crucial for both of these teams on this end-to-end action. These players will be gassed. Both teams playing their second game today. Bedford wins the faceoff. Steinfink turns into his defensive end, picks up the puck on the forehand, tries to work that up for Samosi. Comes off his stick at the last moment, but Bizarro and Samosi in on the forecheck harass their men into giving up possession of the puck. It comes in quickly, covered there by the Bedford goalie. Bizarro tried to sneak one under the right leg pad of the Bedford goaltender, but he was wise to the shot. And so with 12:44 left to go here in the second period, the Raiders register a shot on goal in this frame, unable to sneak it past the Bedford goaltender. Marchuka on the ensuing faceoff tries to win that puck back to a defender. He does. He finds Steinfink, who dumps that puck in. Bizarro all over his man and Marchuka there, trying to feather something up to the near point. Too many bodies in the way, though, as Bedford turns and tries to jam it out. Steinfink works that puck farther, but hits a man as the puck just bounces. Long shot in there, saved nicely. Bizarro come away with it now, comes up to Steinfink, returns the favor over to Bizarro. Bizarro on the puck, curls in, tries to go through the slot, just misses the stick of Samosi there, who tried to tuck that in. Instead, the puck comes in. Samosi tries to collect it, sends it over to Marchuka, who just missed the net. Now it comes up to the near point. It's Steinfink. Bouncing puck goes past Samosi, finds Bizarro. Bizarro looks for a teammate in the slot. Puck comes in. Bedford able to steer that wide. Raiders making a big push here. Gossler jams that puck in deep. Now Bizarro turns to try and pick up the puck in the offensive zone. It's in the near corner. He curls, but he's taken out of the play, and Bedford will come the other way here. They've crossed their blue line. It's a 2-on-2, and Bedford will dump that puck in and make a change with 11:42 left to go. It's Bizarro first to the puck. Leaves it for Steinfink. Steinfink sends that weak side out of the zone, and Marchuka will look to track that puck down. Bedford there first at their blue line. And now Samosi tries to settle that puck down. Would have had to wait to get back into the offensive zone. Gossler with a nice back check there, able to keep his man from threatening, and then work that puck up past the stick of Marchuka. Bedford takes over at their blue line. They go point to point, and then they send it weak side on into the offensive zone. Gossler there to stop any threat from coming. He goes weak side. It's a stick of Marchuka, icing waved as the Raiders fire in on the forecheck. Marchuka second to the puck, but he's able to take possession there behind the net. Heavy hit by Bizarro. Sees that puck come up, but not out of the zone just yet. Tanoff now fires in from deep. The Bedford goaltender didn't know where that puck was. Comes out to Marchuka, who feathers one just wide of the cage. And now Tanoff will pinch in and pick up. He sends a tight angle shot off the side of the cage. Marchuka turns to look for a teammate in the slot. He finds Berliner, misses his stick. Now Koslewski fires the long shot from the slot in, but it hits a body in front. The Raiders will have to pick it up again. They're at the end boards, and it's finally covered there. It's still loose. Puck's still loose. Oh, it looked like it was tucked in, but it wasn't. It stayed out miraculously for Bedford. Another shot in. And the puck's still loose. Tanoff tries to jam that puck farther. Over to Berliner. Bedford still can't clear. Berliner in the far corner there. Works that puck up to Tanoff again at the far point. Tanoff sends that in once the shooting lane's closed. Marchuka finds a man in front. One shot, then two. Bouncing puck there. It's a score. The Raiders finally pot it. After about 20 attempts, the Raiders put it in. And it's a 2-2 game. Oh, they broke the dam on that one finally. At 10-12 left to go. Bouncing puck. Couldn't even see it from our vantage point, but you know when those white shirts raise their sticks, it's going to be something good in the offensive zone. So with 10-12 left to go, we've got straight twos across the board. Raiders 2, Bedford 2, period 2. Linesman checking to see whose mouthpiece was on the ice and loose, as every player must have a mouthpiece to be on the ice. They must have figured it out because we do have puck drop now. Bedford wins the faceoff, tries to work that up through the middle of the ice. Aiden there to cut out the threat. He finds Fauci, turns into his own zone, and then goes weak side on a nice backhand pass over to Hyder. Hyder picks up the puck at the blue line, sends a long shot in. It's just sticked aside there by the Bedford goaltender, and now it comes to the near corner. Fauci works it in deeper to Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli hard on the puck there, works it over to Fauci, gets handcuffed just a little bit. Aiden's able to keep the zone though. Aiden gets that puck in deep, goes all the way around to the end boards. Berliner tries a back check on his man, who's able to feather it up off the boards, but only so far as Aiden. Aiden now finds Hyder. Hyder comes weak side to Petrosinelli, who works that puck farther and deeper in the zone. Petrosinelli fires in to pick up his own pass in the near corner. He takes a hit to make the play. Aiden pinches in now to keep the zone. He finds Petrosinelli, who's curling at the near circle, and the shot's deflected, and Fauci picks up now at the end wall. Tries to feather a pass to himself, nearly does. Puck comes down to Petrosinelli. Tries to get past his man, but Bedford gets in the way. Not out of the zone yet. Nice back check there by Fauci, who sends the puck in deeper. And Bedford will take over possession as the Raiders are able to make a little bit of a change in the offensive zone. Puck still not out, though, as Hyder keeps the zone, sends it along the dasher all the way around the rink. And now Vigliotti out there to try and gum up the play. Bedford breaks out of the zone, though. Send it all the way to the stick of Hyder in the neutral zone, who turns with the puck, sends it back in deeper. But the Raiders are just a hair offside, so finally we got a stoppage in play after a lot of Raiders action in the offensive zone with 8:47 left to go here in the second period. Now it'll be a face-off just outside the offensive blue line here for the Raiders. It's Marchuka, Vigliotti, and Kalemba as the forwards. Bedford tries to win it forward. Kalemba tucks it in farther, and then Bedford sends it out of the zone. Puck now comes to the stick of Marchuka. Marchuka in the slot on the backhand. He sends a backhander, a blind backhander in. Hits the Bedford goaltender's chest, and we get an immediate freeze with 8:37 left to go in the second. It's going to be an offensive zone draw here for the Raiders. Marchuka at the near dot. Marchuka wins that back to Steinfink. Steinfink works it over to Gossler. Gossler tries to send that deeper. Ooh, deflected just wide on the Kalemba shot. Kalemba tries to track it down. Gossler pinches in, works that over his man. Puck again rolls on the dasher. Marchuka finds Vigliotti in the slot, and a stick gets in his way just before he was able to pull the trigger. Now Bedford breaks out of the zone. Gossler will have to take over in the neutral zone and give his forwards time to get out of the offensive zone. Gossler goes point to point with Steinfink, who shovels that puck farther, and then the Raiders are able to dump in. Vigliotti on the forecheck, sends that off the side of the cage, looking for Kalemba, who is streaking toward the blue paint. Puck now just sitting on the net there. And now the whistle goes. Bedford upset that Marchuka kept on hacking at the puck, but clearly did not hear the whistle. And so the referees decide no harm, no foul there, as we'll get an offensive zone draw with 8:01 left to go here in the second period. It's Berliner, Meyerowicz, and Finkelstein as the forwards. Gossler and Steinfink as the defensive pair. Puck won by Bedford, and they'll curl behind their own net to try and set up a play. Berliner now fires in on the forecheck. Meyerowicz there too. Berliner takes the puck off his man, looks for Finkelstein right in front of the cage. Stick and skate get in the way, and Bedford works it over to the strong side to try and get it out of the zone. Now they come to the high slot, but unable to clear the zone on the first attempt. They send a diagonal pass up off a stick into the netting, though. Steinfink gets his stick in the way to cut out what would have been a partial break for Bedford. So with 7:38 left to go, we get a puck out of play and a face-off coming right to center ice. Same five skaters out, or same three forwards, excuse me. And it's Tanoff and Koslewski as the defensive pair. Now Berliner turns with the puck in the neutral zone. Backcheck takes the puck off his stick. Meyerowicz tries to get the puck back. Bedford dumps it a little deeper. Tanoff thought about going point to point, but instead worked up to Meyerowicz. Sends it in the offensive zone, but without possession. Berliner and Meyerowicz in on the forecheck. They force a pass. Meyerowicz takes over, hits the referee's skates twice, and Bedford comes away with it, but not out of the zone just yet. Tanoff pinches in. He's able to guide the puck just a little farther. Now Koslewski will have to turn in the neutral zone with over 7 minutes left to go, just over 7 in this second period, as the Raiders gain the line and dump it in and go for a change. Bedford will get to that puck with a little time. Meyerowicz now in on the forecheck. Finkelstein able to try and leave that for Meyerowicz, but instead Bedford comes away with it. Tanoff will have to turn. A wonderful back check by Koslewski cuts out what would have been a 2-on-1, and the Raiders will have to pick that puck up in their own zone. It's Koslewski looking right into the center of the ice. He finds Berliner, who's able to chip that up and out of the zone. Now Finkelstein fires in on his man, forces a pass. Berliner tries to guide it farther, right in front of the scorer's table here. Raiders unable to work that in deeper. Rolling puck comes all the way into the defensive end, but Tanoff is there first as he settles down the puck on the forehand, then uses the glass to get it out of the defensive zone. Bedford works that puck up to the blue line, but no farther as Finkelstein's able to work that puck in just a bit deeper without possession. Bizarro now in on the forecheck. He's got Marchuka out there with him. Finkelstein unable to keep the zone after two Bedford sticks get in the way, so Tanoff fires it right back in, and the Raiders go right back on the forecheck. Bizarro first to the puck, tries to work that past his man, can't quite do it, and the puck comes up to Hyder at the far point. Fluttering shot comes in, and it's just chested into the glove by the Bedford goaltender, so at 5:56 left to go here in the second, it's still a tie hockey game, and an offensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. It'll be Bizarro, Samosi, Marchuka, Hyder, and Aiden out there as the five skaters. Marchuka at the far dot, looking to win this puck. Back to a defensive partner. He does. Aiden has the puck. It's deflected just wide on that shot, and Samosi will pick up the rebound and send that puck all the way up to the near corner. Long shot comes in. Rebound comes to Bizarro. Hits the side of the cage. Bizarro now tries to cycle to himself. He's cut out of the play as he's leaned on at the boards, and Bedford looks to break out here. Bedford with the puck at their own blue line. Now they come weak side. Samosi's stick gets in the way, and Samosi's able to shepherd that back to Hyder, who goes weak side over to Bizarro. Bizarro gets on his skates, tries to work the puck farther, but Bedford there first. Aiden will have to delay as the forwards look to clear. Heavy hit there on Aiden, but he had the puck, so no call coming other than an offside. 5:21 left to go here in the second period, as the Raiders push to try and take the lead for the first time in this one. It'll be a draw just outside the offensive zone for the team from Long Island City. Berliner, Fauci, and Petrosinelli out as the forwards. Petrosinelli picks up the puck in the offensive end. He sends that shot just high of the cage. Fauci picks up the rebound, sends a tight angle shot, hits a body in front, doesn't get through, and the Raiders, through Petrosinelli, able to keep the zone on a nice back check. Bedford picks up the puck in the far corner again and chips it past Steinfink at the far point. So Gossler will turn with the puck on his forehand and work that on a bank shot up through the neutral zone. Puck now comes to the Raiders' blue line. Gossler stands his man up, and another Bedford man comes in. Bedford now at the near circle, sends a shot in on Speaker, who just gloves that down to the ice and freezes it with 4:47 left to go in the second period. Now it'll be a defensive zone draw here as the Raiders have tilted the ice for a large portion of this second period. Unaccustomed to too many defensive zone draws in the last 9 minutes or so. Berliner now wins that over to Fauci. Fauci uses the glass and chips it past his man. That puck is rolling, but it shouldn't cross the end line, so Bedford's going to have to pick it up before it becomes an icing. Petrosinelli harasses his man into a pass that stays in the zone, and Bedford will have to try again now at the end boards. But Berliner's there. He cuts out the pass. Got a heavy hit, though, in the far corner. Two players down on the ice. You've got to think because the Raiders had possession of the puck at the time, it's going to go against them. Now it looks like it's going to go against the Raiders. 2 minutes for roughing. Matthew Fauci goes to the box, And it'll be a defensive zone draw here with 4:29 left to go in the second period. This draw is going to come to Speaker's left. It'll be Steinfink, Gossler, Petrosinelli, and Berliner out there as the penalty killers for the Raiders. Berliner sets up. Berliner wins that face-off back. Steinfink takes over the puck, goes behind his own net on the forehand, uses the boards, gets it up but not out. Puck sits at the blue line, shepherded farther by Bedford, but not past Berliner. Now Petrosinelli on a mini break. Takes the puck's possession over. He shoots, he hits the crossbar, it goes up and in. That's a Raiders goal. Oh, Jack Petrosinelli gains the offensive zone and he scores himself a shorty after it goes off the post. Maybe the Bedford goalie's back and into the back of the cage. And with 4:13 left to go here in the second, the Raiders have their first lead of the game. They're up a goal, but still down a man. 1:43 left to go here on the power play for Bedford. Ensuing faceoff, Marchuka kicks that forward. Bedford comes away with it as they'll curl in the neutral zone and then gain the offensive zone. A lot of Raiders on the puck carrier. Late trailer comes into the slot, but only so far is Koslewski, who's able to fire that up and out of the zone. He can't quite hit a Raider stick. That'll be an icing, but truly, Nate Koslewski able to clear the threat out there as he gets a tap on the shoulder from his goaltender, telling him a good play was made. So with 3:55 left to go here in the second period, it's a defensive zone draw for the Raiders. It's Marchuka, Finkelstein, Koslewski, and Tanoff. Bedford takes that face off into the slot. They're in the high slot trying to send something in on goal. Bouncing puck in the low slot now, cut out by Tanoff. Over to Marchuka. Marchuka takes it on the backhand, comes up to the near point. Shot comes in, it's deflected wide, and Bedford will pick up in the far corner. Koslewski takes the puck off his man to the end boards, then loses it there as Bedford tries to tuck it around. It's sticked aside by Tanoff. Bedford still with possession. Puck sits in the low slot. Raiders able to clear it at least off to the near point here and then out of the zone. 3:27 left to go. 57 seconds left to go on the power play for Bedford as they try and work it farther. Cut out again by Tanoff, and Bedford will have to recycle in the neutral zone. They do. They're at the near point. They break in the offensive zone. Try a shot in on Speaker, who gobbles that puck up on the chest. And so with 3:14 left to go, that screen shot doesn't make it through. It's still Raiders 3, Bedford 2. 45 seconds left to go on the power play for the Bedford Bears. Offensive zone draw coming for them. It'll be to Speaker's left. Steinfink and Gossler come out as a new defensive pair. Meyerowicz and Marchuka as the forward penalty killers. Marchuka wins that over to the slot, comes up to the high slot for Bedford. Shot comes in. It's taken right from in front and swept in by Bedford. And just like that, it's a tie hockey game again. Long shot from the high slot. Speaker makes the first save, but the puck sits in the blue paint and it's swept in by Bedford. 3:09 left to play here in the second. And it's a tie hockey game once again. Now Bedford scores a power play goal there, and it'll be Meyerowicz, Vigliotti, and Kalemba on the ensuing faceoff as the forwards. Meyerowicz wins that up to Vigliotti. Vigliotti takes over, gains the offensive zone, looks to pass it. Puck rolls off his stick, so he's able to just tap it farther off the Bedford man, who curls around his net. Bedford sends that rink wide. Hyder cuts out that clearance attempt at first, but then hits a body on trying to send the puck in deeper, and Bedford has a 2-on-1 developing here if they hurry. Nice back check by Kalemba, cuts out the threat as Meyerowicz takes over and sends that up to Vigliotti, who sends it weak side to Kalemba. Kalemba gains the offensive zone. He's 1-on-2 right now. Now Vigliotti pours into the zone. Kalemba feathers a pass to the low slot. Bedford gets there first, and now Aiden will have to turn to pick up the puck at his own blue line before Bedford gets to it. He does. He's on the forehand, sends it weak side to Vigliotti, who tries to return it right across the blue line. Instead, Bedford comes away with it. Bit of a hit there on Kalemba before he was able to touch the puck. But instead, we get an offside call. No penalty coming. 2:18 left to go here in the second period. And it's still a tie hockey game. So this draw is going to come just outside the Raiders' offensive zone. It'll be Berliner, Bizarro, and Samosi out there with Tanoff and Koslewski. Berliner wins it over to Samosi, who tries to work it farther. Bedford man gets in the way, and now Bedford tries to break into the offensive zone. They do. They dump the puck in. Koslewski takes his man out of the play, and Tanoff goes to pick up the puck. He reverses it over to Koslewski. Puck comes to the near half wall, not out just yet, as Bedford's able to get in the way of any clearance attempt. Berliner in for support. Curls behind his net. Now we're going to get a call, though, on a stick lift by Koslewski. He's going to go to the box here as the stick flew out of the Bedford man's hands. And so Koslewski to the box. 2 for interference there. And so with 1:56 left to go here in the second period, Bedford gets a power play and an offensive zone draw. Well, the Raiders have 5 skaters out there. And now they're down to 4. It'll be Gossler, Steinfink, Pizarro, and Berliner. Berliner wins that faceoff back to Gossler. Gets handcuffed a little bit next to the boards. He jams that off the glass and out of the rink. So he killed 6 seconds, did Silas Gossler, on the Bedford power play, and we'll do it all over again right here at the near dot in the Raiders defensive zone. Bedford wins that puck forward. It's sent wide by Speaker, who dove for it, unable to cover it up, but he did shepherd it out of harm's way. Now Bedford dumps right back in. Bears have no forechecker there, so Gossler will take over behind his own net. Bouncing puck, misses a Raiders stick, and Bedford dumps it right back in. Gossler gets the puck back again, racks that around the board, still not out of the zone though, as Bedford picks it up on the forehand. Now it does roll on Bedford out of the zone. They'll have to set back up with 1:23 left to go, and just 2 seconds more than that on the power play. Bedford curls into the slot. Shot sent wide on a nice stick by Gossler, and then it's feathered right back into the zone. No shot coming though, right back into the slot. No shot coming by Bedford. Pizarro picks up the puck, tries to work that puck farther. It rolls to Gossler. Gossler gains the line, kicks it to himself, gains the offensive zone, does Gossler. He's taken out of the play, tries to work the puck in deeper from his knees. Pizarro takes over, he sends a shot in, hits the goaltender's chest, goes just wide. 54 seconds left to go, 56 on the power play for Bedford in the second period. Samosi now in, taps that puck farther to kill more of this penalty. Still just 4 skaters out there for the Raiders because of the Bedford power play. That puck's going to go wide. Should be an icing with just 40 seconds left to go here in the second period. The Raiders will get an offensive zone draw, and we have time to remind you you're watching this game on Midnight Sports. Hit that like, follow, or subscribe button, or even leave a comment. Or don't. I'm not your boss. Midnight Sports. Offensive zone draw coming up. It'll be Marchuka, Aiden Tanoff, and Samosi out there for the Raiders. Marchuka tries to win that into the slot. Cut out by a skate. Marchuka kicks it just a bit farther, but Bedford will break out with 35 seconds left to go in this period. Tanoff turns, able to rub the puck off his man. Aiden can't quite clear it on the first attempt. Tanoff fires into the near corner, sends that rink wide. Samosi will pick up the puck with just 23 seconds left to go here in the second period. Samosi through the neutral zone. Some ice in front of him as he gains the offensive zone. Stick handles around one man, but not the second. He does pick up the puck in the far corner. Now Bedford takes it off him. They look to break out of the zone. Tanoff, though, keeps the zone. He finds Samosi. Samosi's got 8 seconds here. He sends a long shot in just wide of the cage. Marchuka will pick up the puck. Looks to work that up to the point, realizes that there's no time left in this period, so that'll be the buzzer now. Late shot comes in there by Bedford, and this game is still tied 3-3 as we go to the third period. Stick around here on Midnight Sports. We're going to do it all over again here for one more period, and it'll be straight threes across the board. New York City Raiders 3, Bedford 3, third period. Coming up next. Well, folks, while you're sitting between intermissions, sometimes it's important to check your phones and make sure you've got no new emails. And while you do check those phones, let's check in with our second sponsor of the evening. Today's Game on Midnight Sports is brought to you by pretending other people on the subway car don't exist. Hockey fans, you've been on a crowded subway car before. It's one of the few places in the world where you can stand with 100 of your closest friends and pretend each one doesn't exist, even though some are only inches from your face. That's right. You can be close enough to hear someone's music through their headphones, or even better, read their text messages. But you've got the best of all worlds. You can peer into their lives without having to acknowledge they exist. It's pretending people on the subway car don't exist. Wait, does this mean I don't exist?
Puck drop for period 3. Just 3 seconds left to go on the kill for the Raiders. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey now as Bedford breaks in the offensive zone, but the puck flutters into the Raiders bench. And so with 12:52 left to go in this one, it's 5-on-5 hockey and a defensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders to Speaker's right. It'll be Berliner, Fauci, Petrosinelli, Gosler, and Steinfink out there as the Raiders get set. Berliner looks to win this on the backhand. Instead, Bedford comes away with it. They go point to point and then work that into the slot. Cut out by the skate of Berliner and then out of the zone by Fauci. Just out of the reach of Berliner on the break, and Bedford will take right back over at their blue line. Oh, they missed the puck there, but Petrosinelli, looking to get a home run pass from his own zone, had just slipped into the offensive zone. So as that puck rolled in, we'll get an offside on the Raiders with 12:39 left to go and a center ice drop. Still Berliner, Fauci, Petrosinelli, Gosler, and Steinfink out there. Berliner has that puck sit at the center ice dot, and then Bedford comes away with it. They try to get on a mini break. They do, except Steinfink steers his man wide, and now a Bedford man waits in front of the net. Puck bobbled there, and up and out of the zone here by Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli skates that puck out of the zone, sends that on net so there's no icing, and then picks up his own rebound, sends it over to the weak side where Sam Berliner fires in on the forecheck. Puck just chipped up and over his skates, and now Bedford will break out. Petrosinelli, a man on fire out there, gets back on the back check as Tanoff steers his man wide. Bedford checks up at the far half wall, now looking up to the high slot to get a shot in on net. Blocker to side by Speaker, and Koslewski picks up the change and works that up to Fauci. Fauci now tries to send that farther. Bedford, though, turns with the puck in the zone. Bedford now still all over the puck, and Berliner leaves it for Koslewski, who backhands that up to the blue line, not out just yet. Petrosinelli leans on his stick and takes over the puck at the far half wall. Still can't clear the zone. He takes his man out of the play, though, and the puck comes to Berliner, who still can't get the puck past the man at the point. Bedford standing tall at that far point. Petrosinelli can't fire that puck pass. Koslewski now, last man back, tries to clear the zone. That puck hits a man in front. It was Berliner, who does eventually shepherd that puck out of the zone with 11:24 left to go here in the third period. Fauci in on the forecheck to gum up any play of Bedford as the Raiders make a change behind. Fauci able to take the puck off his man momentarily until Bedford gets it back with 3 skaters all around him, and now they come with speed, but unable to gain the neutral zone until they do. Bedford now into the offensive zone, dangling around a few men. Shot comes in. Speaker does just enough to guide that wide of the cage, and Tanoff will take over and send that over to Columba. Columba on the puck now, uses the boards to work that up to Marchuka. Marchuka works it up to Vigliotti. Vigliotti tries the return pass as the puck just rolls off his backhand before he's able to send it over to Marchuka. Puck sits at the blue line. Vigliotti takes over, works the puck to himself. Can't quite swipe it in farther as Bedford takes over control at the near circle. Still Bedford trying to work this puck up and out of the zone. They do, and now they've got a mini break developing. Hyder skating back hard to try and cut out any shot here. He does. He leans on his man. Swirling backhander comes in, and we're going to get a call on the Raiders on a slash after Speaker makes that backhand save. And it looks like it'll be Vigliotti going to the box for the slash with 10:29 left to go in this one. So Vigliotti to the box, and the Raiders in a tie hockey game here. Down a man. It'll be Finkelstein, Gosler, Steinfink, and Meyerowicz out on the ice. Finkelstein wins that puck forward. He's going to skate this out of the zone to kill more of the penalties. Got Meyerowicz streaking down the right wing with the puck. Finkelstein sends that off the side of the cage, and Bedford will have to pick up in their own end and get this puck out. Bedford does, but only so far as Finkelstein at first, and now they'll skate this puck out as Meyerowicz hurries on the back check. Bedford, with speed, curls into the slot. Puck rolls off a stick there as Meyerowicz separates 2 men from the puck and sends that out of the defensive zone. Bedford will have to wait for them to clear the offensive zone. They do. Send that puck weak side, and now Bedford with a little ice in front of him skates into the offensive zone. Guided wide by Meyerowicz again. Gosler now fires in. Puck comes in. Speaker's able to kick that out. And Bedford will just have to dump in from the blue line again. Bedford now at the near half wall. Meyerowicz gets there first, jams that puck up and out of the zone as it rolls all the way to the end line. And the Raiders have iced the puck with 9:41 left to go and 1:12 left to go on the Raiders penalty kill. Well, that icing will give them, the Raiders that is, a chance to change lines. It's unlike the professionals and the youth ranks. You're allowed to change your skaters after an icing. Berliner now over the near dot. He's got Tanoff behind him. Samosi and Koslewski out there too. Berliner wins that to Tanoff, who curls with the puck behind his own net. He's on the backhand, switches to the forehand, uses the glass, hits a panel that doesn't quite give him the bounce he wants. Puck sits in the zone until Tanoff gets it back himself and skates into the neutral zone. Tanoff gains the line. He dumps in. 9:24 as the clock continues to run here. Bedford picks up behind their own net. Berliner chops that puck farther. Berliner holds up his man in the far corner, but another Bedford skater comes away with it. Bedford's been strong in their own end in this period. Now through the neutral zone is Bedford. They dangle around one man. It's a mini break. They're in on Speaker. Speaker's able to kick that Ephus pitch out. It was a changeup as that puck came in. Now the shot comes in. Puck sits in the blue paint. It's swiped out there by Koslewski, who gets a tap on the back from Speaker as play rolls on. Another shot comes in, hits a body in front. It's in the mid slot. Raiders desperate to clear the zone here. Samosi's able to do it through his skates. Samosi takes over the puck, gains the line, jams that puck in farther. Raiders able to make a change behind the play, and Bedford will pick up the puck at the end boards with 8:42 left to go in this one. Bedford on the puck now. They use the weak side to get that puck up and out of the zone. Puck comes right in front of the Bears bench. Petrosinelli all over his man, but Bedford kicks it farther until it comes to Aiden. Now it's in the offensive zone for Bedford. They send a shot in, goes wide of Speaker, and Samosi will pick up the puck on the forehand. Sends that puck diagonally out of the zone. Bedford will have to reset here. They've cleared the zone, has Bedford. They'll pour right back in. Bedford in the high slot. Dangled one man now, two. They're around. Shot comes in. Speaker sticks that aside. Comes to Aiden now in his own end. He's behind his own net. He pauses there, gets on the forehand, sends a diagonal pass up to Petrosinelli, just a little bit out of his reach. Petrosinelli tries to work the puck farther. Comes to Aiden again. Shot comes in from Bedford. Tipped in front wide by Hyder. And now Hyder works that up to Pizarro. Pizarro works that puck diagonally over to Petrosinelli. Petrosinelli gains center ice, delays a second, and now breaks in the offensive end. Laser shot comes in, seen all the way by Bedford. Glove down there with 7:49 left to go here in the third period. We have an offensive zone draw coming up for the Raiders. Now it'll be Fauci, Pizarro, Petrosinelli, Steinfink, and Gosser on the ensuing faceoff. One by the Raiders. Shot comes in, goes wide of the cage. Pizarro looks to pick up the rebound at the near half wall. Pizarro works that up to Gosser. Look out. Gosser loads up, sends that just wide of the cage. Comes over to Petrosinelli on the other side. Petrosinelli feathers that up to the blue line to Gosser. Gosser chases down his kick pass, sends it in deeper. Bedford there first, though. They can't quite get it past Steinfink at the far point. Petrosinelli now fires in to pick up the puck in the corner. Works it over to Pizarro, tries to send it up top, hits a man, and Bedford will take over at the end wall, at least momentarily. Pizarro all over his man. Fauci in for support. Pizarro had possession momentarily, and now Fauci works that puck at the near half wall. Bedford bench not happy about the puck being in their own zone. Bedford will curl behind their own net. Pizarro in on the forecheck. Fauci there too to gum up any pass. Fauci works that puck deeper. Pizarro and Fauci come together there as the puck comes all the way to the end boards, and Fauci comes away with it. He's got his back to goal, the back of the goal that is, as he tried to feather a backhand pass out front. Bedford able to cut it out and send it weak side out of the zone. Steinfink will now pick it up at the red line and dump that in. He hit the linesman, but it comes right back to Steinfink. Comes into the slot. Rolling puck finds Pizarro. Pizarro tries to go up, over. That puck didn't quite find the back of the net. Half the Raiders thought it did. Every player on the ice stopped momentarily. Now Steinfink at the far point, but we're going to get a call here on the Raiders with 6:31 left to go. Raiders going to the box. Looks like the Raiders are being admonished there about the penalty call. Looks like it'll be roughing. 2 minutes on Petrosinelli. No, excuse me, that's Pizarro in the box. Pizarro sent to the box there. And so the Raiders down a man in a tie game here. 6:31 left to go. Defensive zone draw to Speaker's right. Puck comes up to Bedford. They send a shot in, but it hits Berliner, never gets through. Berliner just saucers that over on the backhand to Vigliotti, who escapes the zone and gets that puck in deep. On net was that shot, and Vigliotti will look to pick up the rebound in the far corner. Bedford works that up to the far point, but it's going to be a call on the Raiders. They're going to go down 2 men here as soon as they touch up on that hit at the blue line. And it looks like the referees now kicking parents out of the game. Not happy about what's going on from the stands. And so the referees letting the gallery know that they're not going to hear any more disputes from the stands. Well, so it'll be a 5-on-3 here for Bedford after it all gets figured out at the scorer's table. And the referee is just explaining to the Raiders bench what the call is here, as they now have 2 men in the box. And it'll be Marchuka and Tanoff, as well as Gosler out there as the 3 penalty killers for the Raiders. Well, if you like tension, this is the game for you. Raiders bench still asking for a more detailed explanation about that call. Referee explaining, not sure the mics are picking it up for you at home, that you can't ever hit someone in the back, whether or not they have the puck. Raiders bench disagreeing with that explanation. And regardless of what the Raiders bench thinks or the Bedford bench thinks in this instance, there are just 2 men in stripes on the ice. And so we'll play on 5-on-3 here for Bedford as the Raiders try and work that puck up and out of the zone. Only make it so far as the near point. Bedford with a lot of ice out there, jostling in front of the cage. Puck comes all the way to the far side. Bedford sets up and shoots high of the cage. Bedford still with the puck. They get that rebound. They set that play up again. They try and go high on Speaker. Speaker gloves that aside. Puck comes to Gosler, uses the glass, and it hits the netting in the defensive zone there for the Raiders. And so we'll get a defensive zone draw now for the Raiders. Still 5-on-3 for the next minute and 17 seconds. 5:48 left to go in this one. Same 3 skaters will stay out there for the Raiders. Game's been a bit choppy here in the last couple of minutes. The Raiders penalty killers don't mind that as they're able to catch a breather. Tanoff now turns with the puck. It's Tanoff, Marchuka, and Gosler out there. As Bedford now loads up, shoots again, hits Gosler in front, and Gosler tries to send that around. Makes it so far as the far point. Not out just yet. Bedford now in the high slot, moves it over to the far point again. They go point to point. They load up. Shot comes in. It takes a deflection off a stick and goes up and over the glove of Speaker, and that's a Bedford goal. With 5:23 left to go here in the third period. That puck came in from the near point, hit a stick out in front, hopped over the glove of Speaker, and Bedford scores to make this a 1-goal lead for the Bears. Now the Raiders get a player back out on the ice. It's 5-on-4 now for the next minute and 11 seconds. It'll be Finkelstein, Marchuka, Hyder, and Aiden out there. Bedford wins that faceoff. They work that puck up through the neutral zone, and only to the stick of Aiden, who clears the zone again. And he finds Marchuka. Don't forget, folks, the Raiders did already score a shorty in this game. Marchuka takes the puck in the offensive end. He tries to jam something out front, hits a Bedford stick. That hopping puck settles in the far corner. Hyder waiting for the puck to come out from under the Bedford player. Now 2 Bedford men all over Hyder. He kicks the puck farther to himself. He's got Finkelstein out front. Pass comes in. Doesn't find a Raiders stick. 42 seconds left to go on the penalty kill for the Raiders as Bedford breaks back through the neutral zone. Bedford all over the puck, but Finkelstein gets there and he shepherds it past the blue line, and Bedford will have to set up again. Bedford on the puck now. Dance around Hyder, and now they break into the offensive zone. Long shot comes in. Speaker has the puck in his glove, and with 4:37 left to go, we get a stoppage in play. Still 25 seconds left to go on the kill here for the Raiders. Speaker froze that puck so that his team could get a line change. It'll be Gosler, Steinfink, Meyerwich, Berliner out there. And 5 new Bedford skaters as well. Berliner now over the far dot. Tries to win that on the backhand. Instead, Bedford comes away with it at the far point. They send a fluttering shot in. Speaker kicks it to himself off the inside of the leg pad, and he freezes it there. And so we'll do it all over again with 4:31 left to go. Still 19 seconds left to go on the kill for the Raiders. Berliner leans over the far dot. Same four skaters stay out there. Berliner tries to work that farther. Instead, Bedford comes away with it there at the near dot. Shot comes in. Speaker takes that in the stomach. He stops it. It's loose, and then he covers it nicely in the blue paint to cut out any rebound threat. 4:27 left to go. Still 12 seconds left to go on the Bedford power play here, as they've gotten a couple close-in shots on goal. Berliner wins that face-off over to Gossler. Gossler turns with it, uses the glass, not up and out of the zone just yet, as Bedford now has it in the far corner. Now to the far point does Bedford have it. They work that puck in deep. Bedford still at the near dot. Spinning pass there, finds the stick of Meyerowicz instead of Bedford player, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey as Bizarro's out of the box. Meyerowicz gains his own. He sends a long shot in, more of a dump in, off the back of the cage now, as the puck comes up to Steinfink at the near point. Steinfink sends that puck in deeper to Berliner. Berliner curls for the puck at the end boards. Bedford there first, but Berliner's skate gets in the way. He gums up any breakout pass, at least initially. Puck rolls in front, sits in the blue paint. Bedford gets to it first and clears the zone. Gossler now with the puck, and 3:42 left to go in this game as he tries to dump that puck in at his own blue line, to go blue line to blue line, but the Raiders were offside there just momentarily. So 3:40 left to go here in the third period. An offside call against the Raiders. And this face-off is going to come just outside the Raiders' blue line where that attempted dump in happened. It'll be Samosi, Berliner, Bizarro, Gossler, and Steinfink. Bedford takes over that face-off and dumps it in once they gain the line. Steinfink and Gossler turn. Steinfink takes over the puck, reverses for Gossler. Samosi gets there first, tries to send that right back to Steinfink. Samosi takes over the puck again, sends it up to Berliner, weak side. They've got a 2-on-2 developing to the Raiders. Berliner in the offensive zone, takes a slapper just wide of the cage. 3:16 left to go. Puck comes to Berliner at the near dot. Can't get the shot off as Bedford's all over him. He dumps the puck in just a bit deeper. Bedford can't get it past him as Berliner tries to work that puck in deep to Bizarro. Puck sits in the blue paint there. It's saved nicely on the Bizarro shot by the Bedford goaltender. Bizarro now on the puck, works it up to the far point. Shot comes in from Gossler, just wide of the cage. Bizarro now picks up the puck on the backhand. He takes a heavy hit there at the near half wall. Keeps on the puck, though, and works it deeper for Berliner. Berliner fires in. Under 3 minutes left to go in this one as the puck comes up to Steinfink. Steinfink goes point to point for Gossler. Gossler loads up, goes just over the cage, and Bedford will try and pick up the puck and clear that puck. They do. That puck played with a high stick, so we're going to get a whistle here on the Raiders as soon as they touch it with 2:33 left to go here in the third period. This draw is going to come in the defensive end for the Raiders after the high stick. Not a penalty. Didn't hit a player with the high stick, just the puck. So Bedford had to be the first team to play it to wash out that high stick. Instead, the Raiders smartly touched up so Bedford couldn't bleed any more time off the board. 2:33 left to go. Defensive zone draw. Marchuka out there now trying to win it behind him. Tanoff takes over the puck. Goes behind his own net to get on the forehand. Tries to send it off the glass. Bedford man lifts his stick momentarily, and now Koslewski fires that off the glass, but out of play. And so we'll get another stoppage in play here with 2:21 left to go in the third period. Looks like that's going to be a draw that comes just outside the zone. In fact, must have hit a Bedford player on its way up and out. And so it's Marchuka, Petrosinelli, and Fauci as the forwards. Marchuka tries to win that over to Petrosinelli. Bedford cuts out the pass, so Tanoff will turn, pick up the puck in the far corner on the forehand. He goes behind his own cage, uses the back iron to bank that pass over to Fauci, who has the puck roll off his stick, and Bedford able to dump that puck back in. Speaker just sticks that aside. Puck tries to come into the blue paint off a Bedford stick. Instead, Petrosinelli now picks up the puck, and he gets the puck out of the zone. Under 120 seconds left to go here at PNY Sports Arena in Pennsylvania. The Raiders looking for that tying goal. They dump that puck in deep. Comes to the Bedford goaltender who sticks it aside. Marchuka all over his man to try and cut out a pass. Comes over to Petrosinelli. Watch out. He's got a laser. He's at the near dot. Hits a skate. Almost picks up his own rebound. Instead, the puck comes to Koslewski. Koslewski fires. Hits a body in front. Doesn't get through. And the Raiders will pick up the puck again. They've got an empty net, do the Raiders. 6 skaters on the ice. Looking for the tying goal in the blue paint. It's covered there at first by the Bedford goaltender. Still a scramble in front. There are about 11 or 12 bodies in that blue paint. But we get a whistle and no signal just yet. Looks like the linesman signaling for a face-off in the defensive end. Now the Raiders players saying that puck crossed the line. That puck's all the way in the net. The referees deciding they had blown the whistle before it crossed. And so, with 1:26 left to go, we're going to get a timeout now from the Raiders as they get an explanation as to why that didn't count as a goal. But that timeout does give us time to visit with our final sponsor of the evening. Today's game on Midnight Sports is made possible by trying to make healthy choices at a New York City restaurant. Hockey fans, you've done it. You've made it out of the house and you're ready for a meal cooked by someone else on dishes that someone else will wash. Congratulations! There's nothing that can ruin the evening now, right? Wait, right? Oh, that's right. It's the menu with its calorie count. Sure, it may keep you healthier, but did you really need to know that steak you're getting either way is 800 calories? Or the side of mashed potatoes that ties the whole meal together is another 800 calories? I mean, you knew going in that it wasn't going to be like getting a salad, right? Wait, the salad is also 800 calories? It's trying to make healthy choices at a New York City restaurant. Good luck! Well, we'll get you reset here late in the third. Raiders have 3 goals. Bedford has 4. Just 86 seconds left to go in this one. Raiders had pulled their goaltender to try and even it up and thought they had as the puck was in the back of the Bedford net. The only problem was there were about 12 bodies on top of it at the same time, and the whistle had gone in the judgment of the men in stripes. So the Raiders will leave 6 skaters out there for this offensive draw. They've got 5 right now. We'll see who they throw out as the 6th. It's Pizarro going out as the 6th skater here. Draw is going to come to the Bedford goaltender's right. 1:26 left to play. It's Berliner over the dot. Trying to win this on the backhand toward the slot. Pizarro fires in. Puck comes into the slot, sits there momentarily, hits a few bodies, and now Bedford turns, try and get that puck up and out of the zone. They only make it so far as Marchuka at his own blue line. Marchuka looks for Meyerowicz, hits his skates. Now Bedford with a little bit of time on the puck. Meyerowicz cuts that out. He's into the offensive zone. Puck rolls in, and it looks like it's saved nicely there by the Bedford goaltender. Oh, for half a second, it looked like that little black saucer had moved into the back of the cage, but the Bedford goaltender does well to stay strong on the glove, and with 1:06 left to go, the Raiders still down a goal. Same 6 skaters stay out there. Bedford tries to win that faceoff forward. Marchuka takes over at the near dot. He sends a shot in, blocker down by the Bedford goaltender. Marchuka tries to pick up the puck. Instead, it comes all the way over to Tanoff. Tanoff able to keep the zone at the far point. Tanoff loads up, but he's unable to get the puck off his stick, and now Bedford will send that all the way down. Should be an icing here. As soon as it crosses the end line, it does. Pass just a little bit too far with 47 seconds left in this one. It's going to be another offensive zone draw for the Raiders. Boy, they've had some chances here in the last minute or so, have the Raiders. Bedford goaltender doing everything he can in the blue paint to keep the Raiders out. Berliner now at the far dot, kicks that into the slot. Bouncing puck, though, comes all the way out of the zone. 42 seconds left to go as Tanoff picks up the puck at his own blue line. Works it over to Gossler, who dumps that puck in deep. Bedford gets there first at the end boards. They just hold the puck at the end boards, trying to take the clock and kill it. Bedford now with the puck. They move that fluttering puck up and out. That's going to miss the net, but icing's going to be waved, as they're saying Gossler must have touched it there with just 22 seconds left. Bedford at the near point. They've got an empty net. They try and throw it in. Now the puck comes to a Bedford player who tucks that one home, and it's Bedford 5, New York City Raiders 3 on the empty net goal for the Bears. And it's all over but the crying here from PNY Arena, with just 13.7 left in Game 2 of the MYHockey tournament, just outside Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Well, the Raiders will ice 5 skaters and a goalie now, with just 13.7 left. Bedford comes over the boards, too, to see this one out to the finish. Reminder, join us tomorrow on Midnight Sports at 12:20 p.m., subject to carrier restrictions, as the Raiders have their 3rd game of this tournament, take on the New Canaan Wildcats. 4 seconds left as the Raiders fire in. Shots blocked, and the buzzer will go. After a valiant effort from the New York City Raiders, they come up just a bit short. We've gone final here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It's Bedford Bears 5, New York City Raiders 3. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe.